In this video, we're going to compare the PPSH SMG to the MAC-10, and this is a very highly requested video on the channel to compare both of these guns to let you know which one is the best. If you enjoy weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and overall tips and tricks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and click the link in the description and subscribe to our second channel. We do make extra content over there as well. But like I said, this video is all about comparing the PPSH to the MAC-10, and we're going to break down absolutely everything when it comes to both of these guns because they are very similar inside this game. So the first thing we want to do is actually go over the iron sights. I know it sounds really weird, but I do just want to go over that just now, because when it comes to the PPSH, the iron sights are relatively clean. It's very similar to what you'd find on a Modern Warfare MP5, for example, and it does stick on targets very well. You do get what feels like better aim assist with this iron sight. I don't know why, but that's what it feels like. Then going into the MAC-10, if you do have the Gallantry blueprint, you do get a really clean iron sight. So both of these guns do have really clean irons, and that is very useful considering they're SMGs. But next, we need to show you the two class setups we compared for both of these guns. So we kept it very similar to make sure the testing was absolutely fair as possible. So for the muzzle, we did use the GRU suppressor, so you can get the sound suppression, bullet velocity, damage range, all that good stuff. We skipped over the barrel this time because you do not need any of the barrels really to give you the best movement speed. Then we did go for the 55 round drum on the PPSH. The rear grip, we used the Serpent Wrap. We did use the PKM stock, and lastly, the Tiger Team Spotlight. Then for the MAC-10, we did use a very similar build, so agency suppressor, Tiger Team Spotlight. We did use the Stanag 53 round drum, but we've made a whole video talk about which are the best ammunition attachments for all the guns in Warzone, and we'll leave a link to that at the end of this one. There's actually no difference between the Salvo 53 round mags and the Stanag 53 round mags, but we'll use this just for the testing. Then for the rear grip, we did use the Serpent Wrap once again, and then lastly, we actually used the combat stock because this actually gives you the fastest strafe speed over the Raider stock. Now, the next thing we need to take a look into is the overall handling stats for both of these guns. Now, this is actually really important when it comes to SMGs because you do want the movement to be as fast as possible, especially considering they nerfed a lot of the movement with the most recent update. On screen just now, you will see the overall handling stats, and you can see the PPSH on the left and the MAC-10 on the right. And the MAC-10 does have a faster fire rate by about 200 rounds per minute, so it is definitely a bit quicker than the PPSH. Having said that though, the PPSH rate of fire is still pretty decent. The aim down sight bonus does go to the PPSH as well, but if you do want to make up for this and kind of make them very similar, you can add on that 71 round drum on the PPSH, and that will give you a very similar ADS speed to the MAC-10's 53 round drum. Comparing the mag sizes here, they're very similar. The PPSH has 2 more rounds, which is not a huge difference, but it does make a difference considering the MAC-10 fires a lot quicker. So that is something you do want to keep in mind. Then for the reload times, again, they're quite close, but the MAC-10 does reload a little bit quicker by about 20 milliseconds. The bullet velocity, again, is very similar. There's pretty much no difference in bullet velocity in my opinion. And then lastly, for firing strafe speeds, this is very similar once again. There's pretty much no difference here when you have on that combat stock and the PKM stock on both of the weapons respectively. When it comes to overall movement speed with both of these guns, even aim walking movement speed is very similar when it comes to the MAC-10 and the PPSH, so you're not really getting any significant bonuses by going with one or the other. And the next section of this video is taken from TrueGameData.com, and a link to all their stuff will be linked in the description. But what we have here is 250 health, which is 3 armor plates, and all chest shots. And we didn't add any bullet travel time just to make it a lot simpler to understand. And we have the PPSH in pink, the MAC-10 in orange. And as you can see, the MAC-10 does kill a tiny bit quicker than the PPSH, but it's pretty much not noticeable. It's about a 10 millisecond difference, which you're not really going to notice in game. And then you can see the damage drop off is a lot better on the PPSH. So if you are going to use one of these guns as sniper support and use it at those slightly longer distances, the PPSH is a slightly better option than the MAC-10 because this does drop off significantly after that. But the main focus here is for close range on both of these guns because they are SMGs at the end of the day. when you look at stomach shots, then again, you get the same exact difference, it's about a 10 millisecond difference. Then if you do go ahead and then look at extremity shots, it gets even closer. There's not much of a difference here either. The only difference you see is in the headshots, and then the PPSH does take over, but again is not a huge difference. So when it comes to close range TTK on both of these guns, they're pretty much identical. So this really shouldn't decide on whether or not you should choose one gun or the other, in my opinion. Another thing I actually wanted to show you here is me adding in the XM4 as well as the Bullfrog onto this list as well, so you can see how it compares to two of the most popular SMGs in the game. I know the XM4 is an assault rifle, but a lot of people are using it currently as an SMG. We have the Bullfrog down at the very bottom in this cyan line right here with a 559 millisecond time to kill, which is a really quick time to kill currently inside Warzone anyway. Then we've got the XM4 at 583 milliseconds. We've got the MAC-10 at 588. And then we've got the PPSH at 597. So both of these two guns, the PPSH and the MAC-10, kill in a very similar time to the XM4. So they're not slow killing guns by any means. So there's not a huge amount separating both of these guns at the moment. The main factor would be is that if you're using them as sniper support, and then you should go for the PPSH for sure, because it has not as many damage drop-off points. But if you're mainly using these as SMGs to pair with an assault rifle, for example, then there's pretty much no difference between these two guns. What you'll see on screen just now is a recoil chart taken at 10 meters, because most of your gunfights with these SMGs will be round about that distance. And we've got the PPSH on the left and the MAC-10 on the right. And to be completely honest, both of these guns are very easy to control. And keep in mind, we're using the builds that we showed you from earlier on in this video. If you do use maybe a foregrip, for example, you could make these recoil charts a bit better and easier to manage. But there's not really much recoil with either one of these two guns, especially at close range. So, like I said, both of these guns are super easy to manage. I would say the PPSH is slightly easier. There's less side-to-side recoil, but overall I will have to say that the PPSH might just take it because it does have less damage drop-offs, especially if you want to use this gun as sniper support. But if the MAC-10 feels better to you up close, just use the MAC-10 because they're both pretty much the same gun. But the only other thing I would say that the PPSH has as a benefit as well is the 71 round drum option, which if you do like to take on multiple enemies at close range or even kind of those medium range distances, then you would rather have 71 rounds instead of only 53 that you get with the MAC-10. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and also click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel as we do make extra content on there. And thank you very much for watching.